In the world of comic book artists, Alex Ross is a superhero. He's been called the Norman Rockwell of comics and has put his imprint on Superman and Spiderman, Aquaman and Captain America. Ross wields his superpowers in his paintbrush, and he allowed us into his secret lair.
And so here is where I keep all my toys, or most of them at least.
There's a lot of toys.
Yes.
The little museum upstairs in Alex Ross's home in the Chicago suburbs is every comic book fan's dream. Do you spend a lot of time in here?
No, not really.
But it's a comfort that it's here.
It's a comfort that it's here. But this is making up for a life where I had to ask or beg for toys. And so once I had money, then I could buy everything I ever wanted. And it just never stopped.
This is Alex Ross's world. He not only collects it, he creates it. In nearly 30 years as an artist and illustrator, he's painted almost every popular superhero. His work for DC was collected in the book Mythology, and his work for Marvel has just been published in Marvelocity. Is there a big difference between drawing for DC and Marvel, or is it essentially the same job?
It's kind of a difference based upon mood and vibe of the material. There's something about the stoic heroes of DC that can be contrasted against the hyperkinetic heroes of Marvel. I knew from whatever you might call a very early age, this is what I wanted to do, period. I wanted to make art of superheroes. I wanted to, sort of live in their skin full time if I could.
As a kid, he began sketching his favorites, even making paper action figures. This is just like construction paper and Scotch tape.
Yeah. So that's a photo of me from when I was 6 years old in second grade. And this is the t-shirt I was wearing in the photo. I loved the character of Captain Marvel. My mother saved the shirt all these years. That's the exact shirt.
This is the actual shirt?
That's the actual shirt.
I love that.
And so as an adult, I was able to locate the original artwork done by Neil Adams.
You've got like everything.
So it's the whole circle of life here, and there I am.
His mother was a fashion illustrator.
She became more my hero in the sense of watching her go off and work and giving me the idea of, hey, getting paid to do this. Not strictly just for the medium I wanted to be in, but just getting paid to draw.
Like his mom, Ross went to the American Academy of Art in Chicago. It was there he developed the realist style that would distinguish his superheroes. Your version of Superman was meant to be more lifelike, right?
Yeah. It's supposed to respect kind of the aged history of the character going back to the original art style from the 40s. This thicker, heavier version of the character where he looked like he would really beat the living hell out of somebody was something that drew me in. There's something graphically interesting about the Joe Shuster art style that way.
Do you feel an enormous responsibility when you're dealing with a character that iconic?
I feel a sense of responsibility and passion, because when you get an idea in your head thinking that you can contribute something that no one else is recognizing, it really charges you up.
And when you pull it off?
Well, then it makes you think that you're right about everything, which makes you impossible to deal with.
Makes you Superman.
No. No, that's not his fault. No, he doesn't think he's right about everything. He just happens to be right about everything.
When Ross started in the late 80s, most comic book art was drawn and then inked in. But Ross wanted to paint his superheroes. And painted work made what kind of difference on the page?
It's like you're getting more content added at you, more detail, more illumination of the subject. It's the same thing that you're taking out of seeing them in feature films now.
Readers responded. He won the Comic Buyer's Guide Fan Award for Favorite Painter 7 straight years. Were you surprised at how much notice it got?
It's a terrible thing to say I wasn't, right? That's really egotistical. I'm sorry. I feel like I was waiting for somebody to come and do this, and I'd been following comics my whole life, and there had been these wonderful painted covers of the Hulk when I was a kid in the 70s that I just thought, like, man, to read a whole story that would look like that on the inside would be fantastic. Well, nobody was doing that then.
But it has allowed Alex Ross to live the life he always imagined. What has it meant to you to be part of this?
It means everything. You know, the fact that I could be intertwined with it, that it could fill my days, you know, that's the joy I still experience. I like to connect back to the person I was in that thing that gave me such joy as a kid.
Such cool stuff. And can I tell you, when his first book came out, Mythology, I used to sit my son in my lap. We spent hours with that book because he loved that he could see his drawings as a kid and he could see them now. Great story.
I love that he goes back to that.